We know Xi Jinping is preparing for war, not only the military, but also civilian society. He's picked a war cabinet at the 20th National Congress. He's ready to go.
Gordon Chang joins us now to discuss what's ahead in U.S.-Chinese relations. Gordon, good to see you.
Thank you so much, Doug.
We haven't spoken since the Party Congress. The Party Congress is completed, and there have been some new developments since then. We'll get to the Congress and some developments that happened there. I don't know if this is related or not, but North Korea has also been very provocative recently, launching missiles over Japan, quite literally over the nation of Japan. Is that independent of Chinese influence, or are the Chinese allowing this kind of provocation?
Well, first of all, if Beijing didn't want North Korea to do something, and it really felt it was important, the Chinese would get their way. Because although North Koreans hate the Chinese, and I use that word clearly, hate, they realize that they have to comply with Beijing's demands because otherwise their regime would fail. What we are seeing, Doug, is a general breakdown of peace and stability in the world. So, for instance, this year, Russia has been making threats to use their nuclear weapons. The Chinese have been making those threats. And I think significantly, about 2 months ago, North Korea, for the first time, said it could use its nukes as a first strike. In the past, there have been a lot of threats to use their most destructive weapons, but they've always been in the context of defending themselves from an attack from the United States or others. This was the first time that North Korea said it might conduct a first strike. And I think that all of these threats are related because they're seeing that Vladimir Putin got away with it, in a sense. And now they think that they can do the same thing.
Fascinating. I'm saving the best for last. This Party Congress in China wrapped up where the former president of China, Hu Jintao, was escorted out of the Congress right next to President Xi by guards dressed in civilian clothes. But he apparently resisted initially. They made it very clear that you had to leave. And the thing that I found so fascinating was President Xi's reaction to it. Utter indifference. He clearly was behind this. What does it signify?
Couple of things. First of all, that Xi Jinping is the most willful leader in Chinese history. At least that's the impression Xi is trying to give. We got to remember that this extraordinary scene, and this is really one of the most extraordinary events in the history of the People's Republic, that this extraordinary event took place just after the foreign press was allowed into the hall. They could have done this in the secrecy, but they wanted to tell the Chinese people, and they wanted to tell the world that Xi Jinping will do what he wants and that he's in full control. And that message, of course, is ominous.
And so what is his future now? This is a third term for him, I believe it's a 5-year term, correct?
Yes.
And so he becomes instantly the most powerful leader in communist China since Mao.
Or maybe even more powerful, Doug, because I remember Mao Zedong came into power with colleagues who had helped the revolution and who had a lot of legitimacy and credibility. So at least in the beginning years of the People's Republic, Mao was one among many. Clearly the most powerful, but there were others. Right now, there's just Xi Jinping. His Politburo Standing Committee is completely filled with loyalists. He has removed opponents, people from other factions. So at least for the moment, he's all powerful. But, we talk about how Xi Jinping has a third 5-year term. But the point is, in China, there's not an election once every 5 years. There's now an election every day because Xi has deinstitutionalized the Communist Party. And if he fails, and many of his policies are failing, by the way, but if he just fails, he'll be removed at any time. They're just not going to wait for the end of this third 5-year term.
Gordon, we're out of time, but I have to ask you one more question quickly. Is war inevitable with Taiwan?
It's not inevitable, but it's likely. We know Xi Jinping is preparing for war, not only the military, but also civilian society. He's picked a war cabinet at the 20th National Congress. He's ready to go.
Gordon Chang, you always are a straight shooter with us and always appreciate your insight, no matter how grave it may be. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.